So is it okay to get soda? Yeah, that's not very clear as the question I'm trying to ask. So I work in a restaurant, and there are times when people will come in and they'll say, "Hey, can I get a glass of water, please?" And they'll order a meal, and sometimes they're just coming in to just get a glass of water, which is fine, no problem. You want a glass of water? Here you go. But I'll give them the cup, and they'll walk over, and then I'll hear out of the corner of my ear, and I'll look over there, and I'm like, "You wanted soda or you wanted water?" I'm like, "Oh." And there's two common responses. One will be like, "Oh, yeah, my bad, whoops." And then sometimes they'll go like, "Do you want me to dump it out?" And I was like, "Yeah, because you didn't pay for it." And or the other one will be like, "Oh, the soda doesn't come with free with the meal." And that's always like the dumb answer because it's just like they get caught and like that's their first response. So I'll be like, "No, it doesn't come with it. If you want it, it's $1.73 or whatever it is." And the thing is, I think sometimes people get upset. They're like, "Oh, what's the big deal? It's just a soda, whatever, man." But like, really, that's the question for me to you guys: is how many of you guys actually think that it's totally fine? Like, yeah, whatever, man. If he wants a soda, just let him have a soda for free, whatever. Because I, I think like places like McDonald's, they don't care, or they don't care as much because their employees don't get paid to care, and also because like for McDonald's, like a soda, like they sell a cup, large, huge, mountain-sized soda for like $1, right? And most times you're making money on that soda. You are because even if you get like three refills, you still probably more than break even because soda is not really that inexpensive or not that expensive, and it's that's where a lot of these places make money on, like restaurants. If you go to like ever a sit down restaurant, they charge you like $3 for like a refill soda. That's where they make their money because that's very cheap and inexpensive, and then on top of that too, there's no labor involved. Like the soda is not something that they have to prepare, so they don't have to. You don't have to spend money on labor and someone cooking it. But really, I don't know if it's because people don't care or if they are not in their position. It's they're not in the position of being a owner. Like I feel like that's how it is. Okay, so I'll give you another example, not soda related. I'm talking about the bathroom. When I used to be in college, I remember I used to go to the bathroom all the time, like the dorm community bathroom, and I'd walk in and like every stall would be full of piss, not flushed, and sometimes shit. And it's like I was thinking in my mind, I'm like, what kind of asshole doesn't flush this thing? Like I would understand if it was one of those things where these people didn't flush at home, right? They're just trained into it. At home they never flush. So when they go to the dorms, they just don't flush. It's like taking off your shoes. Like an Asian person always takes off your shoes, but when a foreigner comes over, they're not used to taking off their shoes, so they don't take their shoes off, and it takes them a while to adjust, or maybe they never learned the lesson, right? But everybody at home flushes, right? Except for those crazy Los Angeles people who are like trying to conserve water at certain times of the year. Everybody flushes pretty regularly. I don't think people at home take a dump and then just leave it there and like, I'll get it later. Or I'll take a piss and just leave it for whatever. Right? So why do those people do that when all of a sudden they go to the dorms? And it's because in their mind, there's like this like thing in the back of their minds like, oh, this is not my problem. This is not my responsibility. I don't need to deal with this. Somebody else is going to clean it up for me. But why is it that when you have that situation, you like decide to take advantage of being an asshole? Like I remember my mom when I was a kid would always teach me like, "Oh, we're about to leave, David, go get a refill because anyways, you paid for it already anyways, might as well get another free refill." And I see this all the time at the store. People will like they'll finish their food, they'll get up, they'll walk over to the thing, fill it all the way up to the top, go put their drink down, and then walk away. They take like one sip out of the entirely newly filled soda cup. It's such a waste. And I don't understand why people do that. Like, I feel like it's just because they haven't been told. Like, we haven't trained them into thinking the other way. So they just naturally they think that way, and they don't think about it, so they don't realize that it's a problem. And I think that's the same thing with people getting sodas for free. is because they're like, what's the big deal? I'm just one person. One person, one soda. It's not going to hurt anything. The problem is there's a lot more of them than there is of the workers, right? So the reason why, oh man, this video is going to go long if I do this. So I remember when I worked at GameStop, I didn't really care that much. Like, there would be people bringing in stolen merchandise all the time. You could tell it was stolen because who comes in with like 5 brand new PS3 controllers, brand new condition? You could smell the brand new plastic on it. They'd bring like 5 and be like, plop them on the counter and like, okay, you want to trade these in? Yeah. You want credit or cash? Cash. They always want cash. Okay, and they trade in cash. They trade in 5 controllers and they get like $50, right? And used to, I didn't give a fuck. I didn't care at all because it's like, what does it have to do with me? It doesn't hurt me, you know? But, you know, and they'd come with a stack of like, you know, a brand new game would come out, like let's say Madden, and they'd have like 8 copies of Madden. It's like 2 for the PS2, 2 for the PS3, 2 for the 360, and they'd be just a stack of them, just the discs only, no cases. They're like, here you go. And they'd hand them to me like a deck of cards. And I was like, what the hell, dude? But I was always like, whatever. It doesn't hurt me at all. It probably helps the store because the store can sell that stuff. It's merchandise for the store. Whatever, it's product. But I remember I was working with somebody and somebody was like, dude, like, you should care about that. And I'm like, why? What does it have to do with me? And he was like, well, because look, you work here, you make your like $8, $10 an hour. This was back, you know, I think I was an assistant manager back, or like a third key back at GameStop. And I was like, you work an hour to make $10, and, you know, you work all day to make, you know, whatever, $80 or whatever. And this dude just goes to Walmart and jacks a bunch of stuff, walks in, makes $50 in like a half an hour. Right? Like, why are you letting him do that? And then on top of that, too, that theft is loss for the company. And that loss for the company, do you think they're going to be spending that money to give you a raise? Like, GameStop loses product. This is when I was working at GameStop. GameStop loses that product. Oh, we could barely make a profit. Let's go, you know, give a raise to our employees. They're not going to think about it that way. They're not going to give you a raise. They're going to give them a raise first and then, you know, trickle down to everybody else. Maybe you get a shitty raise. So it's like, yeah, it benefits the employees to care about their job and do a good job, because loss and that kind of stuff hurts the company, which and therefore hurts the employees. And this is how I feel about like the soda thing. It's like, yeah, you're just one person, but that's if I like nip it in the bud and try not to let people do it. If I was just like, yeah, whatever, everybody would get a soda, everybody would get it for free. They would, you know, instead of making money on sodas like they should be, they would now be breaking even or maybe even losing money on sodas. And then suddenly, you know, the store goes to shit. Oh, that reminds me. There was like a store, when I used to live in Austin, there was a place called Zen Sushi. Or Zen, like, Wok Stir Fry or whatever. And they had sushi. And I remember there was a guy who worked there. It's closed now. It's closed. But I remember when I used to go, I would go up there and I'd order. And every time I ordered a sushi, the guy at the counter, there's one specific guy, I'm not going to say his name. He had a big beard and long hair. Very nice guy. Very, very super nice guy. But every time I ordered, I would get a stir fry and a pack of sushi. And every time, he wouldn't charge me for this pack of sushi. He'd be like, yeah, here you go. Don't worry about it. And then I would feel bad, so I would like take a couple bucks, throw it in the tip jar. And he would pocket that money at the end of the night because it's his tip. But the store would be losing money because he's giving away sushi, which is raw fish, which is expensive. He was giving it away to customers so that he could pad his tips. And like I said, the store eventually closed. It went out of business. Like, I guarantee you part of that went along with it. Like, for him, he probably didn't care. He's like, oh, well, I'm just giving people free sushi. It helps me out with the tips. I mean, it was also a case where like they'd be like 10 minutes from closing and I would see like stacks and stacks of sushi like sitting in the front. It's like, whose genius idea was it to make, 20 packs of sushi 30 minutes before y'all closed? Like, whose genius idea was that? They're either going to take it home or they're going to throw it away. So, I mean, it's just one of those things where I think people don't realize how important this kind of stuff is because they don't work either in the restaurant or they don't work in the managerial position. Like, they don't care about the bottom line because for them, they just get their paycheck and they go home, and that's all that matters. And this is why, like, I don't think it's right, man. it's it's still theft, even though it's on a small scale. Like if you're getting sodas, if you're getting sodas when you didn't pay for it, I mean, that's how the world goes to shit, man. Because today it's a soda, tomorrow it's something bigger, and it's not your responsibility; it's someone else's. So whatever, man. We'll let the custodian, we'll let the janitor clean up my piss and shit, because it's not my problem. Anyways, I don't want to go too long, so I'll just cut it here. I might visit this later because there's more to talk about. Thanks for listening. See you tomorrow. Bye.